Well, another night over and survived. I actually made my first coffee while I was here. I treated myself to a sort of an on-site coffee last night and this yesterday, because of everything going wrong, as I detailed in the last podcast. It was just kind of like yesterday was like so I actually did avail myself of a takeaway, sort of really nice double cheeseburger and the local chips. The local chips here are really nice. They're properly done. They're proper chips, like done by real people, not kind of like store-bought stuff. And so I'm just having my coffee and I'm planning the day where I'm going to actually walk along the coast, hopefully, not forgetting my water this time. I can't believe I did that. Of all the things I could forget lots of things. I can forget some of my art materials, I can forget, maybe not sun cream, but I've got sort of backups of that. I can forget loads of things. I think you cannot actually walk in sort of 29 degrees it actually said up to 32, and it said 29. I was a bit confused about that, sort of real feel sort of stuff, bobbins. And is the water. You can't walk when it's this bad. And I've been sort of loading up on ice. No, not crystal meth. Ice bought from the local store. Yesterday it was from Asda, and I realised they'd do it locally in the store here. So I got some more. So I'm sort of chilling some drinks and then put it into my water bottles, and it and also my flask, the thermos flask, keeps it cold for a long time, for 24 hours. And there's still ice today from yesterday, so it is. It's very good. So I'm going to walk along the coast, back to revisit what I call Smugglers Cove Bay, but it's called something else. But the Smugglers Cove pub, or Smugglers Inn. Hopefully this time they don't have big signs saying you can't even come in if you haven't had an appointment several years ago, which is what was last year with the COVID regulations. I suspect it might be similar for food now, so I'm going to take a packed lunch, but maybe have a drink there, possibly, but I'm not sure if I have time. I have all day, but I might stop and have a drink there. But the idea is to walk further on, because that's as far as I got in that direction, past PGL. I can see it in the distance, the PGL kids concentration camp, as they call it. It looks like a concentration camp. It looks like an army base. It doesn't look very nice. I'm going to go past that, and I don't think I'll get as far as the connecting to Lulworth and all that lot, because that's 10 miles from here. So I think I didn't really do much round the corner from Durdle Door, so I didn't really walk that bit past Durdle Door. So there is a section I haven't done, and so don't know. It depends how far I get. I'm not going to stress about how many miles I'm going to do today because of the heat. There's wind, which is nice. Oh yes, I forgot to mention, I heard this flapping noise in the middle of the night, and I was like, "What's that?" I was really worried. It was sort of, I say middle of the night. It was like 3 or 4 in the morning. It was still dark, and I was like, "Oh, there's something in the tent come undone." No, what it was is someone else had put up an awning or one of those small, not a pop-up tent. Those tend to roll around in because people never fix them down properly. But it was one of these awnings with lights, with fairy lights flashing in the hedge, just by me. Literally, they're lucky the hedge was there, otherwise it would have been over and into the sea and onto the cliffs. So it was, that was interesting. And they actually came and claimed it. Though I'm nasty feeling that there is actually a sort of poppy sort of awning now in the rubbish, and I'm not sure if that was it or if it was the people down there who they re-erected it. But yes, it was like, I was like, should I go and try and fetch that? And I was like, no, it's dark and it seems to be fine where it is. I've seen that at festivals where people don't bother; they just abandon their tents and then they start bowling across the site. At a proper campsite, that's unusual, and that shows you how it was a strong breeze or a moderate breeze last night. But luckily, because I moved somewhere away that's sheltered now, away from the wind. I mean, I'm in the wind now, but it's about a metre away from my tent. And then it got into the lee. Lee is a sailing term, sheltered from the wind, of a hedge, which actually has, or had, I don't know if it's still there, there was these yellow-breasted birds. I thought there was a nest in there or something. There were sort of chirping noises at the start this morning, so I don't know if there is a nest in there or something like that. And also I had a bee mistake my blue towel for a flower. That was I was literally sitting there, and this bee just arrived, and I was like afterwards, and I must stop saying analyze. I was like, what are my stop words? And yeah, I should have taken a photograph, but actually what you need to do is just experience these things. And if you actually stop and go and get a camera to prove it to other people who weren't there, and also probably aren't that interested, and also not really, it's sort of strange, that whole feeling, the need to document things. He says in a podcast, sort of document things of the moment that are passing. You should just enjoy them. And also I saw yellow butterflies and blue butterflies. I don't know what they're called. And crickets here. Unfortunately, also ants. I am rather too near an ant's nest, and they've worked out that I've got food. Although, of course, being an experienced camper, I do seal everything up, but not everything can be sealed up. But they were very interested in I bought these very poncy but very nice French sweet almonds, and they're in a container that was clipped, but they were like, ooh, I like these. I was like, no, go away. So yeah, they seem to confuse them because I moved the food bag around. But so yeah, I got loads of ice. I've packed my cold bag with ice in a bag, which hopefully won't leak, and also a drink for later and some ice. And yes, oh my god, 7 minutes. You see, actually, I said this would be like 5 minutes, 30 seconds, micro podcasting, and yeah, it's so easy just to rabble on. Rabble on? Yeah, ramble on. But I am hiking, so I'm allowed to ramble. So yes, so that will be the plan today. It is... what's the time? I got up at 7 and I've not even looked at the clock yet. 9:30. And yes, so that will be the plan. And I got to do some washing up because I seem to have... and these ants are the big ones, not the little ones, not these little teeny weeny urban ants. No, these are the big buggers, the ones that will give you nasty bites if you get to the wrong side of them. And I've ejected a couple from the tent already, so and that's worrying. Because it's so hot, I literally had to have the tent open, and I came back last night after the podcast and just slept in the tent for a couple of hours or an hour and a half. Then went and got some food, and then came back and then slept again. So I've had quite a good night rest, but it was just so hot. I was just kind of hiding under the tent. The tent had a bit of, at that time of day, a bit of shadow. It was just like lying by the tent, just hiding in the. I actually went and had a cold shower, which really helped. I think I mentioned that, and it's. It's weird because when I was here last year, it must have been 20s. We've had some rainy days. We're going to have some rainy days next week, which interesting because I've forgotten. Well, not forgotten. Stroke intentionally didn't bring any wet water gear apart from my waterproofed everything. But I didn't actually bring pack-a-mac or anything. I should have. But I was like, you know what it was? It was just like. I picked up that rucksack and I was like, we're not adding anything more, it's just too fucking heavy. And yeah, I'm regretting some of that because, but you have to go when you go. You can't just go spend hours planning a trip and weeks planning it as I was, and then I was dithering about going, and it's just like, no, we have to go now, and live with anything we've missed. I think I've got all the important bits. But yeah, so I might try and buy a little Pack-A-Mac if I can find one of those little ones. Because when it's gonna be thunderstorms on Monday, and in a thunderstorm or whatever, you'll get drenched. And it's fine if it's warm, but it's gonna get colder as well. So yeah, I remember that. I remember getting drenched and then be like, not be able to dry anywhere. Oh, there's a yellow buffalo. So yes, I need to. But the thing is, everything I had that was waterproofy stuff was just too big. Not massively heavy. It was just a case of bulk and having a smaller rucksack this time. I'm using my old army rucksack, which I actually used on the. I think it was on the. I don't know if I had it. I have camped with it before, but I'm not sure if I had it on the first jaunt or whether I had the Berg House then, the one that failed and fell apart. Whereas this one I've sewed back together, and I will post up that picture actually because I'm doing lots of sewing for this trip, repairing things, and so on Monday I might do that on those sewing Monday posts, since they seem to be so popular on Instagram. But yeah, I think the message is just sometimes you do need to sit back and enjoy the moment, and sometimes you need to get up your ass and do stuff. And I don't know, I don't use to have morals to my podcast, but it's very much that bee thing was just like, I should have took a picture. I was like, why? I'm like that with events. I'll go to some gig and not take many photographs, and people are like, why aren't you doing photographs? Well, because if you wanted to be there yourself. If you want me to video stuff and tape stuff and document my life just because you can't be bothered to go to this festival or bothered to go to this thing, then you should go to the thing. That's the weird thing. The art is for me, and the art is obviously maybe for sale. Yes, contact me on tjbaker.co.uk if you want to buy anything. But things like photographs and things and moments like that, I think they're precious as themselves, and I find it's strange as a photographer to say that, but I increasingly stopped taking pictures when I had my big camera, even when I had it, because I felt that I was being invasive to the people around me, to my own life. And as the Kevin Carter Manic Street Preacher song says, you click yourself under, and that's what I felt. I felt like I was documenting my life, and I'd look back and I'd be depressed at what I was looking at, and say, that time has passed, that time has gone, this is not going to happen again. And I don't know, I don't get that with the artwork. The artwork is, I won't say sacrosanct, but there is something deeper in what I do, that's more personal and also more of a craft and more considered, even a quick drawing. Whereas you would just litter your life with photographs, and that's why I stopped taking photographs in a sort of semi-official capacity. I used to do events and things, because you couldn't enjoy yourself. I felt that I was documenting other people's fun, I was documenting my own, in quotes, fun, but it was actually impacting on that very thing. So I'm a big fan of the unrecorded moment, and I think there is some benefit to having moments of your life which aren't recorded, and there's benefits to having some moments that are recorded. But I think that those are landmark events. I think the rest of it, it's like, if you see something interesting and you want to share it, then it's fine, but not if it destroys the moment. Anyway, I'll end on that merry note. Yeah, I'm not editing these. So we're at 15 minutes, so I'll speak to you later. and I'll include a photograph either of the tent or the view. So I think I'll post this one because it's got way too long.